All right, y'all. Welcome back to the halfway point. We've got another episode here. Coming back to you with my homie Nishay, episode
Hey.
two and the halfway
Yes.
point. So we're gonna get straight to it.
Those.
Somebody's calling me. Somebody's always calling me, but I put that on mute real quick. So let's get to talking. I'm gonna play
Is you
this
there?
first
Ooh.
video. Stop it! Stop it! Let's get to work. Let's get to work. We got money to make.
All right.
Uh,
Okay.
all right, cool. Let me
Yeah.
share this video. So I saw this one, and I want to get your take on it because
Uh, okay.
and then we'll get to the history. So you ready? Just the opening scene. I got this from Night Talk. My boy shared it with me, so let's play it.
I think
Let's go.
Black women, and I'll speak for myself, and I'm working through not feeling like this.
Mhm.
If I'm walking down the street and I see a Black man with a white woman, there's a weakness in him.
Ooh.
Something in him is weak.
All right. So, like, for real, I saw that, and there's a lot, and I'm glad she caveated it with, "I'm trying to work through this." I mean, they have a
Right.
very long conversation that goes on, and my dude from Night Talk broke it down really well. But I wanted to get your take on it because I saw it. My boy shared it to me, and anybody who doesn't know, like, my first wife was Black, my second wife is white, and I don't take offense to it because it's things I've heard even before I was with a white woman. But what do you think when you see that and you see that opening line? And she's working through it, so I got to give her credit. She's trying to work
Right.
through that. But if you watch more of the video, you also discover like she's 39. She's wanting to get to that next phase. She wants to start a family. She wants to be married. She wants to have children. Which kind of makes you reevaluate some of the things that you was thinking because you
Right.
would think by 39, if you wanted to have a family, you would have had a
You
family by
would.
then.
Right. For
So
sure.
so yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna let you go ahead and talk on that because I know what I want to say.
So, I mean, you want to hear what I have to say about white men? I'm sorry, Black men with white women, or are we going to start with what it is that,
Whatever
like,
it
how it
is,
is that
whatever
she's
hits
feeling?
you. Whatever
So
hits
for
you
me,
first.
immediately, I can't relate. I can't relate only because for me, when it comes to a man, I believe what's for me is for me, regardless of color.
Mhm.
And I feel like I could be potentially missing out on something if I'm just focused on one race. Now, a black man is definitely my preference,
Right.
1,000%. However, I would not uh forget about or like not consider, love outside of my race.
Okay.
As far as how it just seems, I'm not gonna say weird, but I've never heard that where someone felt like because a black man was with a white woman that he was weak. Like
Mhm.
I just I'm like how Sway, like in what way does, you know what I mean? Because I feel like there's a story behind every
Right.
you know what I mean? Every couple or whatever like this. I'm just saying,
Right.
I don't know that I would choose the word weak, and I'd be interested in to hear like why she chose the word weak.
Right. Well, listening to it, I'll tell you this. And I've always thought this is funny because I'm the black guy that black people have told I'm not black enough because I don't have
Mm,
certain characteristics. I don't behave in a certain way. I
mhm,
talk in a different way than the way other people talk. I grew up in
mhm,
New York my whole life. I've lived in Ohio for like the last 2 decades now. But it's like
mm.
people forget, or people like, man, I didn't know you're from New York. Like, okay,
You
you
don't
know,
have
it's
you don't have that
down.
New York accent. You don't. You
Right.
don't.
You know what I mean? It's like, I get it. I totally understand. But I grew up in the hood like most black people. I mean, I grew up in the rough parts of New York. And for me, like hearing I wasn't black enough was always a thing. So to now hear that, well, because you're a black man and you with a white woman, as she's working through it, the fact that you still have that thought or had that thought in the first place, well, why
Mhm.
is there a weakness there? You know what I mean? Like what am
Yeah.
I weak about? What do I not have that makes me weak?
Mhm.
And it's that type of mentality that actually so my first wife, again being black, and I have two black children, I guess if you want to say it that way,
Mhm. Mhm.
that I had with her, and we were married and trying to do the thing, and it just didn't work.
Right.
Sometimes things fail; they don't work
Right.
for any reason.
Right.
And then I got back into the dating scene. Like I met her, I worked with her, then I got back into the dating scene, and like sisters weren't clamoring for this brother. I did not have the beard that I have now. I wasn't wearing glasses. I had hair, had a
Yeah. Yeah.
fade, but I had two kids. You know what I mean? So getting back into the game single with children, there's kind of a negative connotation for especially for black men. You got kids and you single. I don't want nothing to do with your baby mama. I'm like, I mean, I mean, at least in black culture, like, there is this negative connotation for single black men with kids. No matter how I
Really?
presented myself, oh yeah, trust me, I heard it plenty of
So
times.
let me just, because I'm
Um,
not sure. So were the
yeah,
kids primarily with you the reason why? Like, I'm just trying to.
we had shared 50-50. So I've always
Okay.
had 50-50 shared parenting.
Okay.
Um, and the schedule has changed over the years, but we've always had 50-50. But like,
Mhm.
that has always been a thing. Like, black man, two kids, like, and I'm not the kind of guy who's gonna go up and walk up to him like, hey boo, how you doing, man? Let me holler at you in a second, let me get your number. That's not me. I would
Mhm.
much rather get on social media or some dating app, and that's how I date it. And I can
Okay.
tell you off the rip. So you create your profile and I, put a picture of me up there and I'm in decent shape. You know what I mean? Especially at the time. Like I ain't got dad body. I got a nice little flat belly, worked out, all perky. And if I had to tell you how many white women, like, hey, how you doing? Or if I reach out to white women, hey, how you doing? I'd always get some conversation.
Okay.
Sometimes it wouldn't go anywhere. More often
Okay.
it wouldn't go anywhere. Half
Right.
would, like, you know what I mean? Half, 40% of the time it would go somewhere. You know,
Right.
and I get a number, we
Mm.
date. Nah, you're not right for me. You too, not my taste. And that's okay,
Gotcha.
it
Uh-huh.
um, but with sisters, I I hit up every sister that I thought, okay, she's beautiful black woman. She's, looking at her profile. She's working, got a good job, career focus, college degree, educated. Cool. You know what I mean? I got my
Mhm.
degree. At the time I had my bachelor's, but I was pursuing for my master's and everything. So it's like I'm on that grind trying to find my way up. And like
Right.
the only sisters that will holler at me, and this is no disrespect, they was at least 300 pounds, good 280, 320 big girls. You know what I mean? And I ain't got nothing against big girls. I mean, I'm dated a few big girls. Let's just say it that way. But it's like,
Okay.
hear me up. White women, like when they hit you up, not only they hit you up, but then they be for the cause early. Like, oh, what you need? Your kids need something? Like, calm down, Betty. Calm down. Calm down, Becky. It's okay. They don't need anything. But they be willing to help.
Uh-huh.
Hey, and again, this is just my perspective on the people that I dated. This is not saying
Mhm.
black women as a whole.
Okay.
Because again, I was married to a black woman. I dated black girls when I was in high school. Like after that, like that was my focus in life, and I didn't begin to expand outside of it until later. But when I saw the weak part, get back to that, like it's like, why are we weak? Are you saying that as a black woman, you're so strong? And my boy said this, and I have to piggyback on that. He said, well, are you like a wild animal that has to be tamed? Like, why do you have to be handled? Why do I have to be strong to handle you? You should be strong. I should be strong. We come together as two strong people.
Uh-huh.
But if I'm weak for going to a different race, and it doesn't have to be just white women, it could be Asian
Right.
women, as you see brothers with. Um, Latinas kind of get a pass. You know what I mean? Because I think Latinas are the closest thing to black women, and in many ways, they cut you. No, I'm just joking. But no, like but you see a black man with a white woman, is always this connotation. You know what I mean? So it's like
Mhm.
weakness. Why weak? What does weak have to do with it? I'm
Uh-huh.
strong. I got a great job. Take care of my kids.
Right.
Now I got five, but I take care of all my kids.
Yeah. Oh, this saying that.
Right. You know what I mean? So
But
yeah,
no,
well,
you
I
have a
had
blended
twins.
family,
Yeah.
so I'm just joking with you.
Yeah, yeah. So you know what I mean? But still, in the same regards, like when I heard the word weakness, it just didn't make sense to me. Um,
Same.
you know, why am I weak? What about me is inferior? Um, Especially when like 80 something percent of black men marry black women. It's like
Mhm.
88% or 87%, something ridiculous.
Right,
I mean,
I did hear
right.
it was an alarmingly high rate. So there is
Yeah.
only a fraction of black men that are, you know, with white men. I'm sorry, white women.
Right. With
I
white
mean,
men,
I
they
mean, they
could
could be,
be.
but
They
that's not
could
that.
be.
That's a topic for another show. But no, but yeah. So there is a smaller percentage of black men that are with white women. So
Right.
that's a lot of black men date within their race.
Right.
So yeah, the weak part, I just.
Now, one of the ladies did say that, it seems like there's slim pickings out there when it comes to
Ooh,
qualified black men. You know what I mean? If
it
that's what your
is.
preference is. Now, if that's what your preference is, and like you said,
Listen.
preference is okay. If you
Uh-huh.
say, "Hey, Ray," like if I'm gonna date somebody, my preference is to be with a brother, like you said. but I'm not
Hmm.
gonna knock anybody else. If they come knocking on the door and they got all the qualities, and the
Right.
only outlier is the fact that they're of a different race, why am I
Right.
gonna omit them when I'm looking at my list that okay, I'm flipping through the book. Now,
Right.
granted, if you in your 20s, you're flipping through the book. It's like a dictionary. Okay. You get in your 30s, it's no longer a dictionary, or at least the yellow pages is now the white pages
It's
with
a
the
little
differences.
thesaurus or something.
Right,
Like
right,
it's not, and
right.
that's so true. That is so true because yes, you will have more. You'll have more variety or whatever in your 20s. But like for me, my age, I am of between the 45 to 50 range, right? So
Right,
for me, I would probably be looking for somebody in my range, maybe a few years older, not too much older,
right.
and in that date range, you have people that are married, you have people that are in long-term relationships. Then you
Mhm.
have people that are separated. You have people that are divorced, people that are divorcing. So
Right.
there are a little less to choose from
Mhm.
if you want somebody that has good sense,
Right.
someone that is not hurt, someone seriously, that is the real thing. Like it's a lot of
Right.
bitter men out there just have been hurt by their first wives and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that sense, there are slim pickings. And then if you want somebody that is educated, somebody that does have something going for themselves, you are in competition.
Yeah, yeah, for
You're
sure.
in competition, but the thing is, you're in competition regardless. But I feel
Right.
like the competition is just like a little bit more as you get older, because especially for those men who have it going on or whatever you want to say,
Yeah,
they have kind of like the pick of the litter, right?
yeah,
And
they
I
do.
know for me, um, in the past, I'm the one that a man learns not to kind of like mess with so that when they come across another one like me, they snatch them up. Like I'm always the lesson. That shit got on my nerves. For real. Because of the fact that they know that they have options. And that's cool. I have options too. And if
Correct.
you make me feel like an option, I'm going to remove myself from the equation. But
Right.
I'm just saying, like, uh that's the God's honest truth.
Well, yeah,
Like there
because
are
those dudes are been taken. Like the good men have been in a relationship for the last decade. You know what I
right,
mean? Because they were
right,
snatched up at
exactly.
28, 32,
Right.
and now
When they
you
were
at
like on the
45.
corporate climb and this, that, and
Right.
the third. Right. So
Right.
yeah, them gone.
Right.
Them,
So
them
those are
gone.
in committed 20-year, 15-year relationships, and that's not changing.
Right.
Whereas, like, so yes, there is slim pickings by nature of when you're
The
looking for
age group.
somebody. If
Yes.
I'm a 20-year-old and I'm looking for another 20 to 25-year-old, I got a lot of options. I'm a
Hmm.
30-year-old looking for another 30 to 35-year-old, I still got a lot of options because there's still people that are coming out of college or finishing up college, depending on how far they've gone into college. Um, really getting in their career, maybe 4 or 5 years into their actual career of what they're going to do long
Hmm.
term. So you still have that person, but you get into the late 30s, early 40s, and then like people like me snatched up. You know what I mean? The fact that I was on the market, I'm gonna say I'm a good dude. I mean, I may not be the best dude, and I might not be everybody's dude, and I'm
I
qualified
say
to
the
say I'm
same
not
thing.
everybody's
Yeah.
dude, but I know what I was, and no matter how many times I hit people up, like I said, sisters was just like not respond. Like when I say I'd be ghosted quickly, ghosted quickly, like without a doubt. And like, granted, like my first job, and I always tell people this, like when you in it
Hmm.
and you're looking for somebody,
Uh-huh.
like you have to look at where they are, but see where they're headed, and you have to see the ambition and the drive. And more
It's so hard.
often than not, from my purview, and again, this is my perspective,
Mm,
other not classes, races of women are really good at seeing the trajectory. And again, there are a lot of white women out there with thugs and losers, just like black women.
uh-huh.
Same case across the board.
Right.
Um, and but like we'll see where you're headed. You know what I mean? Like I at the time that I met my wife, I was single with 2 kids. I was working a customer service job for the state. I was making
Mm,
like $17 an hour.
mm.
Wasn't killing it at
That
all.
all.
I mean, like, and
The ends
eventually
was like this.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
then my ex-wife went for child support. Like I had my kids half the time. That's another discussion for another day. But
Yeah.
like I had to pay child support, and then it was in arrears. Like we what? She makes more money than I do, but it is what it is.
Uh-huh.
So we fast forward. I get with my wife, um, and early on, like she invested in me.
Mhm.
How can I make life easier for him because I care about him?
Mhm.
And then I land a different job. I go from customer service to claims, and then eventually move from that to becoming a supervisor, then leave the supervisor job and then move become a consultant, move up from a consultant job. And now we work together as, senior business analysts. And we make good money. You know what I mean? And then I have a side hustle. I have my own business. And
Mhm.
like now I'd be considered one of the good ones, I guess. But you
Uh-huh.
didn't want me when I was on my grind, when I was trying to figure out what path to take. And I'm telling you, just from my perspective,
Mhm.
so many people, it's like walking into a house that's not finished. Can you see what the house is going to be like before it's done? Before the
Mhm.
furniture is in, before the walls are all painted, when some of the drywall is up and the framing is up, can you envision? And you see people who don't know how to do that. They don't know how to envision what the house is going to be like before it's done. Oh, I could
Mhm.
put this there, I could put that there. And how about we move this wall here? Like they can't see beyond the studs. They can't see beyond what's in front of their face,
Mhm.
and that takes a special person to say, okay, this
It
is where he
does.
is. This is where the trajectory shows. This is based on his language. And I'm not saying you invest all of your time in this person because you need to see who they're going to become. You need
Absolutely.
to
Right.
see, is this just an act? Are they just saying these words or is this really what they're doing?
Mhm.
And obviously, there's going to be failures in that process.
Mhm. For
But I
sure.
think that's how people miss, especially women, because when you're
Mhm.
making out your list of what you want, in my 20s,
Mm.
my list is a
It's
solid list.
different.
But your
Mhm.
list in your 20s when you first looking for women, it like I said, it's the dictionary. He
Uh-huh.
gotta be 6'1". He gotta make six figures. He has to work for an important company. He has to be a protector, a provider. He
Mhm.
has to be in good shape. He has to have, like all these things that you want. And again, these are not bad qualities,
No, they're
but
not.
sometimes they're a little unrealistic for who he is at 25. It's not who he is at 25. At 35, if you're looking for a dude, you should see him more in his career. At 45, there should be a little difference. But I feel like what people are looking for, they're all chasing, especially women, you're all chasing the same three dudes, right? And it's like, and he gotta have certain qualities about him, that there's not a lot of those going around.
So I gotta say, I'm a different kind of female. When I was making, I can't say that I necessarily had a list per se. I had something that in mind, but I didn't necessarily have a list per se, right?
Mhm.
And I
And I'm
was
not
more
saying a
so
physical list. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying a physical
no,
list. I'm
no, no.
saying we all have a list of qualities that we're looking.
Right. I get what you're saying. But for me, my list was for myself, right?
Okay.
Like there's a certain level that I wanted to reach, a certain person that I wanted to be, or whatever you want to say. I wasn't necessarily concerned about what this person had as far as like their money and everything like that. For
Mhm.
me, it's about how this person treats me, how they carry themselves. Are they a provider? Are they generous? Are they caring? And things like that. So that was kind of like more so my focus. I wasn't necessarily focused on the money part per se, because I feel like that's something that, I mean, as long as you have a career
Yeah,
or
the money will
whatever,
come. Right.
it'll come. But what I will say is there are some females that are out there that I don't think that they lack vision per se in terms
Okay.
of a person's potential. I think some of them have already invested in the wrong person. So then
Right.
when they see someone like you, it's like, yo, I'm really on my grind. I'm really about something. I'm going somewhere, but I'm not there yet. As a female who has been disappointed before, when you see
Right.
that again, it's like, you know what? This dude is not for me.
Right. And see, that's because y'all just
Because
lumped every dude and y'all put them all in one damn bowl.
unfortunately, that's what
And
that's
yeah,
what that's what some people do. That's what some people do just because based on what it is that they have encountered before. It's like, you know what? I've done this. And then if you've invested in the wrong person more than once and you've done it for a long time, you're
Right?
fatigued. And it's like you come across another one, it's like,
Correct.
nope.
Correct.
Mm-mm.
Correct. Right. And it's all about stages though. Like
True.
you're at the stage where that's not acceptable. Like
You got that
I
right.
need you to, if I'm dating, like, let's say, God forbid, nothing ever happens to my wife. I love her to death. But if
Mhm.
I was in the game right now at 43, you better be living by
Boy,
yourself and have a
please
good
don't
income.
stop.
Right. You better be out here doing that thing.
No,
You
and there are
better
things
have
that
your
you
own
should be doing
car
in your good
and
good 40s.
retirement
Yeah.
accounts. You better be looking forward to, like, you know what I mean? Like, no, we ain't having kids. No, we ain't doing this. No, we ain't
Right.
doing that. You better have this. You better have that. You better have this.
Absolutely.
Because I can't be trying to rehabilitate you at 40 something years old.
Yeah, yeah.
But there are some scenarios where it's like, all right, maybe you were, because you do have to understand, you, me, once you leave a partner you've been with for a long time, and
Mhm.
depending on what your age is, there may be some rebuilding that has to take place
Oh yeah.
because the foundation to that house was shaky, usually for so long that
Mhm.
things start crumbling. The
Good point.
foundation is rocky. So now you got to rebuild this
Yeah,
house
you gotta
that used to be on
stabilize it.
solid ground. So you get on
Mhm.
your own, and now it's okay. This is the house that
Ooh,
marriage built.
yes.
That
Uh-huh.
marriage built this house over a decade, over
Mm,
2 decades, over
mhm.
15 years, whatever. And now that house is crumbling. And I was in that house, and a lot of debris was hitting me along the way. So now I've got to
Mhm.
heal some wounds. I've got to get some dust off my shoulders. I've got to get back out here and rebuild the foundation that I was before I came in. But you
Mhm.
also got to take care of old hurts before you came in. You got to take care of new pains that happened after you left. So there's all these things that
Mhm.
have to happen. And I feel like people don't take the time to rebuild those things that leads to the best version of themselves. So when you get in a relationship, you don't put, especially like I said, women are really good at putting every dude in the same bowl. Men are just dogs. Wait a minute. You mean the men you met are just dogs? That's why I
Right.
say not all, like most black women you meet will be more educated than black men, hands down.
Mhm.
Okay. Now they do talk about it. Like black women get to a point where they're so educated, like, I'm gonna need you to realize, yes, that education is valuable. But when we in this house, I'm gonna need you to, like, okay, how is it? I didn't want to marry my mother. Okay. My mom was strong.
Uh-huh.
She had
Uh-huh.
to be because she didn't have a good man in her life.
Mhm.
And I don't, like, I never really heard much about her dad, so I can't say that. But from what I saw, like, not a positive man, and she got
Mhm.
with rundown men who were abusive physically and mentally. And then that just perpetuated a lot of the characteristics that she had. So she had become the strong black woman. But you become
Mhm.
too strong where you see me as weak, or you become so strong that it's just like I can't even have a conversation with you. And
Really?
I always said I couldn't marry my mother. That was the key, because that woman would be the death of me. And like I said, I got with like the black woman I was married to was far more timid in that area. Wasn't aggressive, wasn't loud, like, you know, uh, very subdued in many ways.
Mhm.
But it got to, it was like, okay, I need you to have some backbone. You know what I mean? I can't have you out here like just letting me do anything. I'm a young kid. You know what I mean? Like she was an older woman, I'm a young kid, and it's like I need you to have
Okay.
some backbone. You know what I mean? But
Uh-huh.
and that's just again my perspective of relationships. But like
Mhm.
women, y'all are so strong, y'all are so smart, and black women have become the most educated race and group of people in this country.